Once you have finished shooting an animated shot, it's time to take all those still images and turn it into moving footage so we can include it within our completed edits. The images out of the camera will be numerically named. This will put them in the correct order straight from the off, which is incredibly helpful to us. Now this collection of images is also referred to as an image sequence, and there is more than one way to turn this image sequence into a video clip. To start off with, I'm going to go to Premiere, and the first way I'm going to do is I'm going to import an image sequence directly. I'm going to point Premiere to the folder with all of my still images and tell it it's an image sequence. For this to work, I need to ensure that within my media folder, for example, I have all of the images that will make up this specific shot, this specific image sequence, in its own subfolder. With that done, in Premiere, I simply import my folder and my image sequence, but tell Premiere during that importing process that we're in fact importing an image sequence. To do this, go to the File drop-down menu and we'll select Import, and we will navigate to the project itself and we'll find our image sequence. I'm going to select the first file that makes up this image sequence, and at the bottom left here you'll see Options. I'm going to select that and it will expand out and I'll have this one tick box for image sequence. If I select that, it will then read numerically until it finds a break from, in this case, 100 through to 164, and that will come as a video clip. If I do not have this selected, I will simply import this first image as a simple still JPEG within my project. So I'm going to click image sequence and then click the import button. And I now, instead of having a single JPEG, I have a video clip. And I can press play and you see it plays through. You'll also notice this is playing far too quickly. That's because this shot was animated on 2s, as will all of your stop motion shots, no doubt as well. So I need to slow this frame rate down so that it plays at the correct speed that it was animated for. To do this, I'm going to right click on the file itself down in my project panel. And in the options, I will find Modify. And there I will select Interpret Footage. Now this is where I can tell Premiere to play back this video clip in another way. This works for any video clip, but is particularly useful for this instance because we need to slow down that frame rate. Currently it's playing back this clip as if it was 29.97 or essentially 30 frames per second. We're going to click on this button down here and tell it to assume the frame rate is in fact 12. We'll then click OK, and the duration on the clip will extend dramatically as it's going to play the same frames but over a longer period of time. So let's play that back from the start now. So that's much smoother, much more at a pace that the shot is designed to kind of have, as we're now playing this footage back as if it was on. As we're now playing this footage back in 2s as well in the way that it was animated and intended for. I can now simply add this to my edit. I'll place it on a higher track, and for argument's sake we'll say that this storyboard animatic is for this shot. Working in this fashion, where I can see my full animatic and then a completed shot, allows me to see every individual shot that as I complete it in the context of the full animated project. I can see if things are working in terms of its pacing. I can see how I've physically animated and how that's reading on the screen, and then I can make adjustments and fine-tune things as I complete additional shots. It means that at any point in time I can see my entire project, albeit and most of it until the end, as an animatic, but I can see how everything works in context, because editing is all about that context. No shot is an island. The second way of doing this is with a nested sequence. Sometimes we'll use nested sequences if the shot we have is more complex. There are multiple layers going on, an adjustment layer specific to certain clips within that as well, perhaps. Sometimes it's because we have elements within there that are keyframed, so we need multiple tracks. But instead of having all those elements stacked up in our master edit, we'll have all of them consolidated within a single sequence. So let's walk through how we create nested sequences and why we might use them. So now I'm going to go and import my folder again. But this time I'm going to select the image sequence folder, not the first clip, not the first image in that sequence. Just going to take the folder, and image sequence won't be able to be ticked, but just ensure that that's not selected. When I click import, I will now have a folder with all those still images. So I'm now going to create a fresh sequence to place all these images within. So I'm going to go File, New, Sequence. I'm going to ensure that my sequence presets match my master edit, which in this case is the DSLR 1080p 25 preset. I'm going to click OK. This will give me a fresh blank sequence. Now I need to place each of these still images in order on my nice new empty sequence. The easiest way of doing this with multiple elements, if they're in a folder, is to take that folder and just drag it straight onto the timeline. It will then place all those elements on the timeline, and as these are still images, they're going to play for 5 seconds each. Now that is far too long for this to work as an animation. So what I might in fact do is select all of them. Command A is the shortcut key for that. Right click on them, and then I'm going to select Speed Duration. This will allow me to adjust the duration that any individual clip plays for. So I might make that 0 seconds and 2 frames. That way, all of these still images will be on screen for 2 frames. So again, we're playing back our animation on 2s in the exact same way that we animated it on 2s. We'll click the Ripple Edit button, and then we'll click OK. It's now significantly smaller in the timeline, and it'll play back absolutely as we expect. Now I might add additional elements to this. So I might take another image and put it on a higher track. I'll place another one. This is just for argument's sake, things that I might do if I was making a more complex shot. Extend them to the full duration. But I want to add this to my master edit. So go back to my master edit, and here I will find my sequence. If you ever lose your sequence in a project, simply select the sequence you want to find, click this little menu button, and you will find Reveal Sequence and Project. Here it is down here. So to add that to my master edit, all I do is click and drag that in as if it's a normal video clip. There's audio associated with that. We want to delete that element. So to do that, I'll select the Alt key on my keyboard and click on the audio element. And as you can see, when I do that, I can select each bit individually. I can delete the sound element. And I can play back my animation, and I can see the 2 additional parts I added there as well. So this is 2 ways of us bringing an image sequence and turning them into a video clip. Do this with each shot as you create them. That way when you play the whole edit, you'll be able to see everything at once, as we've said, and it also gives you that kind of learning as you go in terms of what's working and what's not, so you don't get to the end and realize things that you should have tweaked or moved slightly differently.